Thank you for thank you for joining today's session, Thriving Through the Holidays with Julie. Just a couple reminders for today's session. Please keep your microphones and videos off during today's presentation to eliminate distractions. Also, at the end of today's session, we will send out the survey, so please take a couple minutes to respond to that. And towards the end of the week, we will be sending out the YouTube link. So if you happen to have to sign off early or know people that weren't able to come today, the YouTube link will be sent out later this week. So with that, I will turn it over to Julie.
Okay, thank you so much. Knowing there's a YouTube link makes me nervous, but I'll calm down from that.
It's only sent to those that are registered.
It's okay. So thanks, Kylie, for inviting me to share again with you guys. I am Julie Landseidel, family nurse practitioner here in Bismarck. And we're going to talk a little bit about the holidays, stress, everything that goes along with it. And I like to call it thriving through the holidays because I know we have to survive it, but there are some tips and tricks we can do to be as healthy and just maintain as much as possible. So let's go. So a little bit about myself here. Oops, where's my next slide here? So I'm Julie Landseidel, a family nurse practitioner here in Bismarck. I'm the owner of Step Wellness, where I educate people to be healthy. Lifestyle medicine is like what I like to say I focus on, literally empowering people with options of health. I went to University of Mary, active duty military, all kinds of big things in the past. I also do a lot of weight loss education, wellness education. And probably the newest thing since I had the honor of speaking with you a couple months ago is I became a certified Les Mills body pump instructor. I know how important exercise is for our overall mental health, as well as our physical health, but mental health has been a big topic for me and for a lot of people this past year. And so I decided in the middle of, kind of somewhat lockdown that I was going to become a body pump instructor. So I am now certified teaching classes here in Bismarck and hoping to do some online. So working to keep all of us feeling the best we can. Some things that I offer at Step Wellness, lots of custom health solutions. So if you have a topic that you want to improve something on, I customize in for that. Lots of corporate wellness education, weight management, sports physicals, absolutely love sports physicals. I do some testing, vitamin D testing, some genetic testing, food sensitivity testing. I absolutely love that because if we're eating the foods that we have a sensitivity to, no matter what we do, we're going to have some problems with inflammation. Personalized supplementation, and I do some skincare stuff as well, some collagen, microneedling for skin health. So try and make us feel the best we can in our skin from inside to out. This is my family here. I think the last time I talked to you, we had just come out of a COVID wedding. So I'm not quite as sad as I was then. We went on vacation to celebrate making it through last year. So I gained a son-in-law last year during COVID. So our family expanded. So, and my I would say my oldest son right in the middle there, he just graduated as a nurse and moved off to Denver. So I have have completely left the state of North Dakota, is a nurse down in Denver, Colorado. My baby, even the tall one there, is a senior nursing student at NDSU, and our daughter there got married and they just moved to Moorhead. So they are a little bit closer. So I'm super happy that we were all able to spend some time together. So talking about the holidays, this is what it all seems to look like on the Hallmark Channel, right? It's like we were talking yesterday about watching the Hallmark Channel and how much we actually enjoy doing it because it always ends good at the end. There's always a happy ending. So this is kind of what we see on TV. This is what, we think it should be like. I don't know. I've learned a lot about expectations this past year, that, expectations are probably not the best for us. This is what we think it is. The reality is this is what we're dealing with. And this has always been like this, but I think it's getting worse and worse just because our world is a little bit more stressed than it was. So, there's the holiday shopping, all this is happening. We don't have any snow yet here in North Dakota, but that probably too shall be coming sometime soon, dealing with all that. Reality, try to take some Christmas pictures, and this is probably what you end up getting when you're taking Christmas pictures. A little bit too much excess alcohol, a little bit too much excess intake. This is what really happens. Then there's the reality of, buying Christmas gifts. things are so out of proportion that we end up with all this happening, Christmas, taxes, bills, because right after the holiday is then tax season that comes in there. And then we might be overindulging too much in foods. And then what happens is January comes and people come to see me and they're like, please help me. And it's not necessarily about what the number is on the scale. It's how do we feel? Because all of this put together over this next 2 months literally has people moving into the new year every year with the same goals every year. It kind of never changes. And so, how can we take control of that? I thought this was hilarious. Christmas shopping update. I bought myself something from my husband. I bought my husband something from me. I bought my in-laws something from us. I bought the kids something for my husband, and I bought my husband something from the kids. Any questions? Who's done this? Who's found a Christmas gift in the closet a year later that was meant to be for somebody? I feel like the main thing is no longer the main thing. And whether it's society puts us in that category, whether we make it to ourselves, I'm not sure what it is. I had to throw this in here because now this has been the joke the last couple of months about because of the shipping, make sure you order everything early. So there's the Black Friday lines. And I just thought this was hilarious. I don't know, because it's like now go shopping earlier than ever so we can make sure our packages get here because of all the things that are happening. And once again, I think we lost what the main point of the holiday season is. So here are some causes of stress during the holiday season, if you don't already know. So stress is a common thing over the holiday season. Stress over the last year and a half has been a very common thing. We're living in this chronic stress society. Now you put in a busy world with chronic stress adding into the holiday season, it literally is going to cause an explosion for some people. So one is we spend too much money that we don't have. We try to pack too much into our already busy schedules. We really set unrealistic expectations. There is that word, expectations. On Christmas Day and even on our guests, like what's going to happen at the holiday. Traffic, whether it be driving or whether you're shopping in stores, too many people delays our schedules, and just the crowdedness of things causes issues. Family conflicts arise over the holidays, and the holiday rush goes on. It just leads to increased stress to the point where sometimes people literally just burst. I mean, it's almost more than people can handle. Don't let chronic stress get in the way don't let stress get in the way of the holiday. And chronic stress can definitely have a negative impact on your physical and mental health. So some of common signs of stress. The thing is, I hate to say, but so many people are already dealing with this, but common signs: being irritable, getting angrier quicker, mood swings, physical complaints. The complaints of headaches, back pain, and like stomach aches, upset stomach greatly have increased when people are stressed. Heartburn and reflux greatly increase. People worrying about the future, not being able to sleep, ruminating on topics that they can't seem to get out of their mind, and feelings of sadness or alone. Sometimes for people, it'll be loss of appetite. Other times it'll be increased appetite. Again, I said sleep, difficult concentrating, fatigue, just feeling overwhelmed. And really it come to the point where we are just mentally and emotionally numb, trying to get through the days. Here are some ways not to manage holiday stress. So stress affects your health on its own, but it can also lead to unhealthy behaviors. Avoid unhealthy stress management, such as stress eating, smoking, drug use, or alcohol. These coping mechanisms do not work. They are harmful, and they most frequently makes the issue worse. It makes our stress worse. Don't shoulder the burden of stress on your own. Talk to loved ones. Find someone that you trust, whether it be family members, whether it be friends. Find someone that you trust that you can have a conversation with. Also, don't ignore stress. That's the worst thing that could happen. Don't ignore the fact that you're stressed. You have to work on managing stress through the holiday season so that you can have more enjoyable time during the holiday season and have more fun with the people that are around you. let's see, I put this up here. You can sure screenshot. I'm not going to read it off here, but these are some things that I found researching, like ways to decrease or manage holiday stress. One is holiday gift giving. Again, I kind of made the joke about the where our packages are now and shopping early, but the reality is we don't have to spend a lot of money to make a gift mean something to someone. We have really, kids are going to be happy no matter what the gift is they're opening. We don't want to go into debt. That is just, I think this has been something we've known for years, but I think it's becoming more prevalent that people understand that do not put yourself in debt for Christmas. There is nothing that's going to make anything better for that whole thing. There are people already with financial harm. So why not work on making homemade gifts? Spend some time with people and make homemade gifts. Pinterest, go to YouTube, find things that you can do together. As long as the gift is thoughtful. I always say that I was telling my husband not to buy me a dozen roses for anything because I'm like, it's too much money. A single rose, one rose that costs the least amount of money means more to me because it's just a thoughtful thing. So, or do something thoughtful for somebody instead of buying something, do something thoughtful. So just don't put yourself in the category of financial stress so that when January comes, you're stressed on how are we going to pay those bills. A lot of this comes down just to making better choices of what we're going to be doing, and don't feel pressured into doing something that you don't want to do. Family conflict during the holidays. I wish this wasn't a real thing, but it is. Every family is going to have its hot button issues. And I have to say, in the past, I would say that there's sometimes over the holidays, people do get more stressed than argue and more like that. The thing is, over the last 2 years, unfortunately, a lot of relationships have broken down with friends and family. And so this could be a very difficult time getting together with people. One, I recommend never having a big argument with people. This just gave some examples of how to talk it out, how not to argue, making some plans ahead of time, etc. Another thing I want to say about that is, remember, we all have choices. And sometimes the best choice is not to put ourselves in a situation that wouldn't be the healthiest. Doesn't mean I'm talking just family, but just in general, over the holidays, we do have the choice to not put ourselves in a situation where we wouldn't be the healthiest. So get together with family, don't have any arguments, plan ahead, things like that, but so that there's not a lot of family conflict during the holidays. I had to laugh. Another one was Christmas cards they talked about. So if you know anybody who's the Christmas card lady, and I'm going to raise my hand in that, don't stress yourself out on doing Christmas cards. There are some people who literally spend the whole year of working on a Christmas card and spend a lot of money on that. If this stresses you out, don't do it. This was one of the top things they talked about in things to avoid over the holidays for stress, is that instead of doing 100 Christmas cards, pick 10 people and make, the 10 people and send them a card. Or even better than that would be to pick 10 people and actually call them. Pick up the phone and call them, not text them, but call them. That would probably mean way more than putting yourself through the stress of making Christmas cards, because we know that one, it can cost a lot of money. One, it can be very stressful. That was my family one year trying to take a Christmas card picture, and someone shot the fact that I was yelling at everybody. But these are just some things that, to kind of decrease on the stress that is happening. The number one thing is, remember, consider what is in your control. There's a lot of things not in our control, but there are a lot of things in our control. And a lot of those things are just everyday lifestyle that we can choose to make a choice on what we're going to do. So these ones I'm going to go through here have to do more with wellness and food and just overall kind of physical health, feeling good, because that is where most of us get ourselves in trouble over the holidays. In my practice, I can tell you so right now I have a group of people who messaged me and they want me to run them through a wellness class and keep them accountable between Thanksgiving and Christmas, so they can stay on track over the holidays, so they don't have to get to January, then be like, oh my God, I feel like such crap. Because the thing is, the holidays come every year. Thanksgiving and Christmas occur every year. So why do we go in so blindsided that we don't know what's going to happen? And so let's make some plans. So one is set realistic goals. Over the holidays is not the time to kind of probably set a plan to, I'm going to lose a lot of weight over the holiday or get shredded. Because the reality is the main goal is that you should just have, like I say, no weight loss, no weight gain over the holidays. That's a big one in a lot of places, a 0 pound challenge. The average American gains 7 to 10 pounds over the holiday season. Just don't do that and you are ahead of the curve. So just set realistic goals. Plan out when you're going to eat. If you want to call it planning out cheat meals, that's great. I'm big at over the holidays because I'm addicted to sweets. But when I go somewhere like to my mom's or wherever, I will only eat the desserts that are homemade, not the desserts that were picked up at the supermarket, prepackaged and brought. That is how I choose to, eat. If I'm going to have something that's a dessert or something that probably wouldn't be what I would normally eat, and then make that decision, say that this is what I'm going to do and don't feel guilty about it. I'm going to eat the homemade desserts that my family made. That is okay, and make that decision and don't feel guilty about it. Can you communicate your goals? I think that's one thing that I see a lot is people just don't tell people they want to be healthier. Just so let people know. Now, is everybody going to root for you? No, they're not. I wish I could say that. There's a lot of self-sabotage or friend sabotage that happens, but let people know it's okay to be an advocate for your health. It is okay to do that. Like I said, number 4, learn from the past. January comes every year. Thanksgiving comes every year at the same time. So let's figure out how we can make the best decisions without overeating, over drinking, and just feeling like crap once that happens. Because when we don't feel good, like if I'm going to be at TMI, when we're bloated and constipated, you don't feel good. It's the way it is. I don't care. Then you're more stressed and the cycle just keeps on going. It just adds to everything. So we want to set ourselves up for the best success we can. When you're going somewhere, bring along friendly snacks. In my world, I educate on low glycemic eating, but wherever you're going, take snacks with you. If you're driving to Fargo for the weekend, for the holiday, pack some veggies, pack some fruit, pack some high protein shakes. Be prepared. Don't walk into a situation like, oh, well, there's nothing to eat here. Again, that's healthy. I guess I just have to eat all the bread on the table. The reality is, let's prepare ourselves so when we walk into these things, we can be more successful. I wish I could, number 6, avoid snacks in the break room at work. I can tell you when I worked in the ER, people would bring things in all the time. I know that is a difficult thing. What you can do is be the person who brings in the healthier snacks. And that might be a good thing for you to do. When you're eating at buffets, use smaller plates. When you go to a party, this is big. And this isn't even a party. This is if you're going out to eat. If you're going out to a restaurant tonight, don't go right after work when you're starving. It's kind of the same as don't go grocery shopping on an empty stomach. Same concept. So before you go out to eat or go to a Christmas party, please don't starve all day to save up on the calories. So when you get there, you can eat all you want, because all you did is slow your metabolism down. And then we wonder, why am I getting kind of bigger in the belly? Or why am I feeling more inflamed? It's because we slowed our metabolism. Keep eating, you guys. Keep eating every 3 hours before you go out. Have something, whether it be a handful of carrots, an apple. I personally use like a protein shake with high fiber in there. I'll have half of a shake before I go somewhere, so I'm full when I get there, so I can more easily control what I'm going to eat when I am there. Don't congregate in the kitchen or buy the food, which I know is a very common thing. Scope out food ahead of time. So if you're going to a restaurant, if you're going somewhere, this one probably comes up here, but if you're going to a potluck, bring a healthy dish with you. Bring a turkey chili, bring some baked beans, bring a dessert that has a lower sugar impact. You bring those so that if there is nothing else that is brought that is healthy, you actually brought something for yourself. That's how you should look at it. Watch your portion sizes. I have some things that I use within my practice that help with appetite, help with leptin sensitivity, help with inflammation. These are just some things that I use with my clients to kind of empower them to control appetite and their health. If you're drinking, make sure you don't add sodas or juices. Have it with water or just on the rocks and having some water between each drink. Some big ones that you can have is like tequila. I know it's like tequila, but the reality is tequila is made out of agave. Agave is low glycemic with a low sugar impact on your blood sugar. So when someone's wondering what to drink, I tell them to have tequila. Just sip it with a lime and some salt and some water, or mix it with water. I've done that before, but that sugar in the juices and soda add too much sugar, and you're just not going to be good for you. Again, core is just something that I recommend for my clients in my office to help with appetite. Bring a healthy dish. I already talked about that. Hold strong against social pressure. I don't care what anybody says about trying to pressure you into eating or drinking. Your body is your body. You can make a decision for yourself. I see it all the time, and I don't understand why people do it. One is on our side, let's not be the person who, I'm not going to say bully, but who pressures people into having something they don't want. If you choose not to have an alcoholic drink, then don't have an alcoholic drink. If you want to have one, then have one, but don't do it because someone peer pressured you into doing it. Reward yourself with other than food. I know I'm as guilty as that over the years. With my kids, it'd be like, oh, if you did this, then I'm going to give you this candy for a gift. And the reality is we should not be doing that. So buy yourself a new outfit, go out to a concert, go to do something, go to the spa, do something for yourself other than feeding yourself with something of food that's not healthy for you. Make sleep a priority. You cannot ignore sleep. I'm going to talk about sleep in a little bit. To be aware of emotional eating. So if you are stressed out, things such as reading a book, exercise, talking with a friend, anything that you can do to kind of prevent emotional eating. One of the things with emotional eating sometimes is that our blood sugar is low. So make sure you're eating regularly so that you can get through that emotional eating. Because a lot of times it's just our blood sugar is low. If you are someone who's very stressed out over the holidays, cortisol is our stress hormone. Taking some kind of supplement that would have ashwagandha in it could be very beneficial. There's many of them on the market, but ashwagandha is the #1 herb to help with stress and cortisol. And so this might be something you want to look at. Please do not skip meals. Do not skip meals. I cannot lecture on that enough. You have to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks in between. You have to, because one is when your blood sugar drops, then we're crabby. When we're crabby, then stress goes up because now we're going to argue with somebody and we just don't feel good. You just can't do that. Plus, it keeps your blood sugar stable and it keeps your body in fat burning mode. So therefore, we're less likely to gain weight over the holidays, even if we make some not great choices, because we're keeping our metabolism going. So eat, eat, eat. I cannot stress that enough. Keep exercising. I'll talk about exercise in a bit. I like how they say wear form-fitting clothes. I personally don't wear form-fitting clothes to a Christmas holiday because, I like those sweatpants. But the concept of it is if you wear something that's more tight-fitting, you're less likely to overindulge. So just remember that. So not the baggy jogging pants that go to Christmas, unless you plan on going running during that time. Start with protein and with a starch. I always like to say protein and fiber at every meal makes losing weight no big deal. This just talks about another supplement here for fat burning. Eat slowly, drink water between each cocktail that you have. Stay positive. Here are some affirmations. You can honestly just Google positive affirmations, print out the sheet and put it on your mirror and read those off to yourself every day. Just by you doing that is going to help you. So I am stronger than my cravings. I deserve to be the healthiest version of myself, and my new habits are getting me there. Reduce guilt. Again, I talked about that. If you choose to have the dessert, have the dessert. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just keep on eating and keep your metabolism going, and keep the main thing the main thing. Like I said, I don't think Christmas cards and food and all presents are the main purpose of Christmas. We have to really pull it back in and keep the holiday season exactly what it's meant to be. So how we eat, how we move, how we hydrate, how we supplement, how we feel, how we think, how we sleep, it all matters. I wish there was a magic pill. I do. I used to work in the emergency room as a nurse practitioner, and people would always come in like there was a magic pill to fix things. And the reality is there's not. There's a bunch of little tidbits that we have, but there's no magic pill. And a lot of it comes down to the choices that we make and the lifestyle habits that we have. So talking about what we eat. Here is, you can screenshot this or any of this information. If you want me to send it to Kylie, let me know and she can share it out with you. This is a menu plan that I give to people in my office to help keep track over the holidays. I also use this for students during sports physicals when they don't know what to eat, how to eat anything. This just tells us how to stay in track with foods that help boost our metabolism. It gives us what are the best grains to have, what are the best starches, and it reminds us to eat. On the right-hand side is actually the tracking sheet that I use in my clinic for people, and they have to track, because when you journal and track, it's going to make you 50% more successful than the people who don't. So if you're just thinking, I would just like to maintain where I am at, just print this out and just track on here. This is just keeping us on track of eating healthy and surviving through the holidays. So this is a great thing just to help keep on track. My friend Val Myers at the Kids Therapy Center and her nurse practitioner, Emily Janes, they have 4-week classes called Food for Mood. This is not just for children. That's why I know it says children's mood and behavior. This is not just for children. It's for families, for individuals. This is a great class, and I believe they have one coming up in December. It's coming up soon because they just sent me this morning. This is another thing you can look at because sometimes it's not even that we're eating bad foods that we know of, but we might have sensitivities and not know that food dyes, dairy, things like that actually impact how we feel. So they're going to help you read labels, help you understand what kind of ingredients maybe shouldn't be in foods when we're shopping. So if you're interested at all, the number is there for the Kids Therapy Center. And you can check on those 4-week Food for Mood classes. And they are doing them via Zoom or in person. Okay, exercise. Oh my God. Exercise of any kind helps boost and support the immune system. And I have to tell you, that is really why I ended up going to be a certified body pump instructor, because I've loved fitness for years. I mean, that's a big thing for me, but over COVID and when everything was locked down, I literally did body pump in my garage and it kept me sane. I cannot tell you how sane it kept me. Once I was able to go back to the gym again, I literally cried sometimes during the sessions because the endorphins of the exercise just helped me process so much of the stress that many of us have experienced, what most of us have experienced. And I just felt the need and the importance to take it one step further so that I can be an advocate for my patients as far as being a nurse practitioner, educating them on health, wellness, food options, but also advocating for fitness for them. And that really, this last year and a half is what pushed me to do that, because it literally has gotten me through days that I wasn't quite sure I was going to make it through. And so benefits of exercise, one is you're just going to feel better. You're just flat out going to feel better. But there's many others. Strengthens our muscles, strengthens our bones, our cardiac health, our immune health. You might have heard that word a lot the last year and a half. Reduces stress, burns fat, improves our mood, increases our energy, all these things, and metabolism. These are all the things we're looking at that we deal with over the holidays with stress. Again, if you can pick one thing out of the whole thing I talk about today, I was going to say ramble because I can talk fast, but if one thing I talk about today is going to put you on a better track to manage stress during the holidays. And it doesn't matter what kind of exercise you do. I think a lot of people think you have to get all crazy. It's just, let's just get off the couch and move our mass. That's it. You don't have to join a gym. You don't have to spend tons of money. There's lots of apps on YouTube. There's lots of free apps. There's planking apps. There's someone right now is doing a burpee challenge. Grab 2 friends and make a plan. That is it. There's cardiovascular, there's weight training, there's stretching. We need them all for different reasons, but one is if you're not doing anything, do something. We do have to fit exercise in. If you don't have any information on workouts, you can go to my website. It's stepintotls.com. Under resources, there's a fitness tab, and there's a bunch of different exercises in there to assist. There's kind of a beginning one there, super easy to just download and do that there. But find what you enjoy. Don't do something you don't enjoy. Find what you enjoy and just make a goal for the next, 2 months to move more will help. I had told Kylie this morning. I just got off a half hour ago. I am taking a course called Trauma Informed Weightlifting. It's the fundamentals of trauma informed weightlifting. And I know everybody thinks that this class is about being a bodybuilder or a big weightlifter, and that is not. So today was day one, and literally it talked about stress, PTSD, anxiety, and just getting people to move. So I'm in day one of 4 days of 30 hours of education on this, and I'm telling you, it was so good today, because when we talk about trauma, again, trauma doesn't have to be somebody died or a violent act was taken against them. I think that's what people think. And when my clients in my office, I'll say to them, we've all been in trauma the last year and a half for some degree, because we're in a chronic stress. And so many of my patients appreciate hearing that, because they're like, I just don't feel good. And I don't know what's wrong, because nothing's really wrong. I just don't feel good. And it's because we're having the ongoing effects of chronic stress, which can also be trauma. Trauma can be from multiple different things. So this has been a great thing. I'm hoping to expand this more into my practice. So I was day one of those of that education happening. So it was great. So repeat after me if you yell it loudly. No supplement can replace a healthy diet, proper sleep, and adequate exercise. Nowhere will I ever say that a supplement is going to replace any of those. The reality is, though, many of us are not eating a healthy diet, are not sleeping well, and not adequately exercising. So these are some things we're going to talk about that you can implement to assist with that. So one is stress and sleep. The more stressed out we are, more than likely the less sleep we're getting. Now we might be, well, I shouldn't say that. Some people are sleeping more. They're getting too much sleep. They can't get out of bed. They're so stressed, depressed, can't get enough sleep. Others are in bed, but we can't fall asleep. I think I just talked about myself. So I can tell you that my sleep had greatly suffered the past year and a half. I'm working on it getting better, but sleeplessness is a big thing. And the more fatigued we are, the more stressed we are. And the more stressed we are, the less we can sleep. It's like this little hamster wheel we're running in. So nearly 8 in 10 adults say there is a significant source of significant stress in their life. 2 in 3 adults say stress they experience is increasing. And we're moving into the holidays. And nearly half of adults report their stress has impacted their health and their relationships. And some of those things, like when we talked about stress, physical complaints, behavior changes, whether you're snapping at people, whether it be family, whether it be coworkers, mood swings, all of that. And most blamed a lack of sleep, trying to juggle too many things and work pressures for causing them to feel stressed. So if there's one thing that we could really add that could make a huge benefit, would be adding sleep. Ongoing stress increases our cortisol. Cortisol is basically when our hormones are off, and elevated cortisol then prevents us from sleeping. Increased cortisol also adds body fat onto us, increases inflammation, especially in the midsection. So someone who's in high stress is generally not sleeping well, and they become like stress eaters, and they have elevated cortisol. Those are the people I see a lot. And it's like we literally have to get their cortisol levels back in check. But a big part of it is they have to sleep, because when that is happening, we're not as productive. We start having increased abdominal fat. Immune health. If you're really stressed out, your immune health is sacrificing. Right now, again, immune health is a very, very big thing. We can lose lean muscle mass, and we can just overall cognitive functioning. We're just not as productive as we were. So if you can exercise, decrease your stress, and sleep good, do that off on your own. That is a great thing. But if we're needing to add something, because the reality is stress depletes nutrients from our body. Stress is very big in depleting multiple things from our body, as are medications, which I actually didn't add that in here, but medications deplete a lot of things from our body. So if someone's on a birth control pill, if someone's on Ibuprofen, lots of over-the-counter anti-inflammatories, all those decrease B supplements from our body. Someone's on a blood pressure medication, that depletes B supplements from our body. So there's a multiple things that do, but let's look at 3 micronutrients that are depleted by stress that can be supplemented in order to help you better manage sleep and stress. One of them is going to be magnesium. Oh my God, I cannot live without magnesium. Magnesium is huge for cognitive health, sleep quality, and just overall healthy habits. Magnesium is really big for the nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, and it helps basically for us to be calm and relaxed. It helps relax muscles. So it helps in the stress response. It helps immensely with sleep. It helps immensely with constipation. It helps immensely with migraine headaches. So if you know anybody with any of these things, magnesium is so important. Magnesium is the 4th most abundant nutrient in our bodies, though most of us know nothing about it at all. We need to have magnesium. So some of the things that I've seen this past, I would say past year especially, I've been seeing a lot more people with leg cramps and sleep issues. Sleep has always been a big deal, but sleep issues are increasing, and so is leg cramps. This is a magnesium deficiency. So if you're having any of those issues at sleep time, adding magnesium to your bedtime regimen is going to be a really, really big thing. So some things that magnesium can help with. If you know anybody who has migraine headaches, I probably, if you remember from last time, I would have shared that I used to struggle from migraine headaches all the time. And I added magnesium about 8 years ago, and I next to never have them. Magnesium is the #1 recommended supplement by neurologists for migraine headache prevention, not prescription, supplement. World of difference. If you know anybody, leg cramps, muscle health, anything like that, sleep, this is so needed. I cannot believe how the demand of magnesium has gone up. Very, very big. And then also if you deal with constipation issues, magnesium is very beneficial. Using it in a certain amount of, dose, 400 milligrams, 800 milligrams. How you know you have enough magnesium in your system is when you get loose stools. So if you're someone who deals with constipation, that's when you know that you've had enough magnesium in your body. If you have any questions on magnesium, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Just know that dietary intake is particularly low in women, and sleep quality is very much affected with higher levels of magnesium. So big thing, because we need to sleep. Another big one is vitamin B. B complex is huge. Some symptoms of low B supplements are muscle weakness, headaches and stress, irritability, confusion, sore throat, crabbiness, fatigue, numbness in your toes and fingers, things like that, all of that. Some things that can be depleted by or B supplements is alcohol. How many of these are we doing over the holidays? Alcohol, sugar, coffee, stress, medications, and even good things, you guys. So if you're like, I got this down, I exercise, I have a good regimen 2 to 3 times a week. The reality is though, exercise also depletes B supplements. So we do not make B supplements in our body, so we have to take them. They're water soluble, so what we don't need at that moment excretes out. So some people actually need B supplements more than once a day. I take them once a day, but my daughter takes them several times a day because she definitely notices the irritability, kind of the crabbiness. She'll say it herself. My daughter says that she's a bee without her bees. That's her quote. So she's very reactive to increased stress, needing B supplements to help with that. So if there's one supplement you're looking at for stress over the holidays, it might just be B supplements. So remember, we cannot make them, so we have to take them. It also helps with metabolic function. So it helps with increase our metabolism so we can process foods better. It's very good for stressors and sleep hormone cycles. Now, I wouldn't take B supplements at bedtime the first time you take them, because B supplements are actually meant to increase your energy. I would tell you to take magnesium. However, there are some people who are so depleted in B supplements, they actually can take B supplements at bedtime and they're going to sleep better. This actually has happened to me, but that's not how I would recommend it initially when you do that. Bs generally are taken during the day to increase our energy and etc. from there. And again, they're water soluble, so we do have to replenish them every day. So here's an activated B complex. I also want to say that if you're going to purchase one, make sure it's activated. I didn't have a slide on that, but lots of people have methylation issues, which is, it's called MTHFR, where they cannot process or convert some of the B supplements from the inactive to the active form. Over 50% of the population has this. You can get tested for MTHFR. I work a lot with it. The thing is, majority of us are that. So I would just look for an activated B complex if you're going to purchase one. And if you're ever wondering what kind of supplementation would be the better one, or what you should have, you know, what would be something I would recommend, just let me know and I can tell you which ones I use in my office. But I do want you to get an activated B complex. It's going to help with stress, help with the heart, help with your weight, helps with eye health, helps with beauty because there's biotin, helps with skin health, and it helps with your immune system. Anything for your immune system is going to be a good thing. The link between stress and vitamin C. Vitamin C is very important. It's found in the highest concentrations in the cortex and the medulla of the adrenal gland. It's a cofactor in catecholamines and adrenal steroids. Vitamin C is one that I have a nurse practitioner colleague that everybody gets put on magnesium and vitamin C because they're so prevalent in so many of the cells in the body. So lifestyle may accelerate how quickly you need or metabolize vitamin C. So again, some people will need more vitamin C than others. So people who need a little bit more are those who are under acute or chronic stress, those who drink frequently. So if you're drinking more alcohol, smokers, or those who have a chronic immune complaint. Those are the people who would need more vitamin C. Again, vitamin C is one that you will know when your body has reached the level for its cells, or the tolerance, as we call it, we call it bowel tolerance. You will again get loose stools if you take vitamin C in a higher dose than your body needs at its cellular level. It will just excrete it out with a loose stool. So I don't recommend taking a super high dose in one sitting, but breaking it out. So I'll wait till I get to the next screen here. So these are just some of the things great for immune health, antioxidant, inflammatory response. Just know that 50% of Americans don't get enough vitamin C through food sources alone. So those are three right there that I went through that can be very beneficial for stress and sleep, helping with that. Now I'm going to talk a little bit on immune support. It's a hot topic. I get messaged every single day on what someone would ask or what I would recommend to boost your immune system. Number one, don't wait to boost your immune system till you need your immune system boosted. This is where I want you to take a proactive stance on this. So one of them is vitamin C. So I have three different ones here. One is vitamin C that is very good for immune health. For it does, you know, there's several different forms of it out there. I recommend taking at least 3,000 milligrams a day, just on it every day, doing that. If you feel like you're getting sick with something, I actually have my clients take 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams every hour until they have tolerance or where they get loose stools. They take that number, what that amount is, and then they divide that for the next day. So they're not getting loose stools. So if you're able to take 20,000, then the next day you would break that up into the doses to take that the next day. So vitamin C is very, very good for immune system. So if you're wondering, how do I keep my immune system boosted? Vitamin C. Another one is zinc. Zinc, again, it comes in several supplements. It also, you can just buy it individually in a zinc supplement. There's different doses. I have an average of about 18 to 20 milligrams that people take on a daily basis. Actually, there's some studies will show about 38 to 40 milligrams, kind of depending if you're sick versus you're not sick, whether you're looking to boost your immune system. So somewhere between 20 and 30 milligrams of zinc per day is going to be good to help boost your immune system. And the number one, and like, well, here's the number one, vitamin D is the most cost-effective and beneficial supplement for your cabinet. I would like to say I would prefer if everybody went out on the river in the sun and we all absorbed our vitamin D. Unfortunately, we can't do that out in the river today in North Dakota. And number two is, even if we were outdoors, I would want you to wear sunscreen so you don't have skin damage, and that prevents us from absorbing vitamin D. It is very hard to get enough vitamin D in our foods, and even some of the foods that have the highest vitamin D, such as eggs, dairy, and fish. If you came to me and you had some GI issues or some inflammation issues, if I did a food sensitivity test on you, I could pretty much bet you're going to have a sensitivity to either eggs or dairy. I personally have a sensitivity to both. So I've had to increase my vitamin D intake in a supplement when I decreased my egg and dairy intake. And I noticed that my vitamin D levels went down because I tested myself when I had to change my diet, and my D did go down. So I had to up my supplementation that I take to equate that, because I cannot eat eggs or dairy in my diet. And so you just need to have that. Just the facts: more than 1 billion people worldwide do not consume enough vitamin D. More than 50% of postmenopausal women have suboptimal levels of vitamin D. And without adequate vitamin D, we're actually only 10 to 15% of our dietary calcium is absorbed. So a lot of times we talk about we need calcium for strong bones and teeth. But the thing is, if we're not getting enough vitamin D in, we're not actually absorbing the calcium. For me, I actually recommend vitamin D first before calcium for my clients, or both of them. But if they were going to pick only one, it would be vitamin D. You've probably heard a lot. Well, here, let's go with this. Less than four, you can pick out where you're at in the age, but less than 45% of adults older than age 50 have adequate levels of vitamin D. That's, and then look at, how it goes up from there. Less than 25% of adults older than 70 have adequate levels. And I'm sure that you heard over the past year and a half, the benefits just on the news or on different research that you've done, that vitamin D levels are very prevalent, or they see, what am I trying to see? Similarities, or you can see that the level of someone's vitamin D can be linked to how sick someone gets with some illnesses. So the higher your vitamin D level, the better off you are. So I want you to have at least a level of 60 to 80, if not even up to 100. I know if you go get your vitamin D tested at the clinic back where I used to work, and the level was 30, we would tell you that's normal, that's healthy. That is just to prevent rickets. That's not for optimal wellness. So you can go get tested. I'm actually now advocating more for people to get tested. I never used to be. I'd say just take a vitamin D supplement. The reality is, though, I want to make sure what you're taking is absorbing and is actually elevating your vitamin D, because you can say I'm taking a vitamin D supplement, or I can say that, but if it's not actually increasing my vitamin D level above 60, it's not beneficial. It doesn't matter, that I'm taking it. It's the fact of, is it really increasing my vitamin D? So I am actually a big advocate right now is know your vitamin D level. If you do get it tested, make sure you ask them, what's my number, when they call you with the result. I do vitamin D testing in my office at a lesser price than it would be in the hospital, because a lot of times it's not covered by insurance, and then you end up dishing out $300 for a test. I think people have the right to know what their numbers are so they can make a good educated decision on their health. So make sure you're doing that. Also, if you're wondering, like, how much vitamin D should I be taking? I have my clients take between 5,000 and 10,000 IUs per day, sometimes more than that, depending on what their health status is. If they're sick or not. So 5,000 to 10,000 IUs per day should be adequate. Really right now, I would go with 10,000 IUs per day. So great for many things: cognitive, bone health, cardiovascular health, blood sugar, and immune health. So vitamin D really for whole body wellness. Again, one thing if you're going to pick one thing for just overall wellness, this might be the one to do that. So I know I gave you a lot of things here on how can I manage holiday stress. A lot of it has to do with lifestyle changes. I wish I could say I'm going to have a magic wand, or you can have a magic wand, and we're going to make all the stress go away, or the world a different place, or our kids not screaming, or anything. And that's not going to happen. We have to make some choices personally, but those choices truly will make a difference on your stress level and how you handle holiday stress. It all comes from within. So is there anything else I can do? Mind, body, soul, anything else I can do? One is, and I'm not going to cry when I say this, but if you must spend the holidays alone, see, and I'm going to get emotional. There's been a lot of people who've lost loved ones over this past year. I personally, my mother-in-law passed away 2 months ago. I have friends who've gotten divorced. I've had friends who are single and don't have any kids. There's older people who've lost their spouse, whatever it may be. If you must spend the holidays alone, try to get into the spirit. Please put up your Christmas tree. I had someone the other day on a call, she said she put up her Christmas tree. And then someone on the Zoom call, because we're all on Zoom these days, said, oh my God, I can't believe you put your Christmas tree up so early. You know, it's before Thanksgiving, you know, that whole thing. And what she said back was, the last 3 years I haven't put my Christmas tree up because I was taking care of my mom, and now my mom passed away. And she said, I just felt like I wanted to put it up now, or I never would this year. And that like literally broke my heart. And it totally changed how I look at people when they put up the Christmas tree early, because, you know, they may be putting it up for a reason that you and I don't know about. So get in the spirit, put up a few decorations, cook a special meal, invite some other person to share it with you. If you're going to be home, invite someone over. There is nothing better than spending a holiday with somebody who needs someone else to be around. Many people are alone on the holidays, and doing this could make a positive impact on someone else. By all means, do accept an invitation to dinner at someone else's home. If someone invites you to dinner, join them. For some reason, many lonely people will just hibernate for the day because they feel they would be an intrusion into someone else's home during this special time. Don't do that. Join someone, invite someone, celebrate life together. So just remember the people who have lost people over the holidays here, because I know many this past week that just have lost loved ones. So, and I know everyone on this call has experienced that. Other things, remember to exercise, whatever it may be. I don't care if you're out walking the dog. I don't know if you're planking in your living room, or you're doing, I don't care what it is. Just keep moving, keep moving. Find a friend, have some laughter. My friend and I went to dueling pianos the other night. I was like, oh my God, I have to actually get dressed and put on real clothes, because most of us have gotten used to being home for the last year and a half. And we had the best time. And it just reminded me, you need to get out with friends. You need to be out with people to laugh, because laughter is the best medicine. It just made me feel so much better. Please don't diet over the holidays, but your pants won't get too tight if you don't wear any. So this might not be a good thing to do for family if you have some family issues, or maybe it is. Come pantless to your family event, and maybe that'll break the ice for if anything's happening. But just remember, stay healthy. Everything here, some other stress management strategies. Take a break from the stressor, exercise, and this includes sex. That's a whole nother topic, but I'm just going to say, any kind of exercise is good. There's lots of endorphins that go with healthy sexual activity. Smile and laugh, get good social support, meditate. That's a whole nother thing. Meditation is so good. One of my NP friends lectures me on meditation. I prefer body pump. She prefers meditation in yoga. Whatever works the best for you. Learn to say no. You don't have to be on every committee that there is that your kids are on, or that the church has, or everything. Remember, do what you enjoy doing, but don't overdo that it causes stress to you. Eat healthy. Remember, protein and fiber at every meal. That will help keep your blood sugar stable. Take your vitamins. Drink lots of water, because that actually helps manage your cortisol levels. Make time for fun and relaxation. Set realistic expectations and ask for help. Don't do it on your own. Ask for help. And whether it be going to counseling, whether you're like, I don't have any friends I want to talk to about this, go to counseling, find a support group. I joined a support group this year, and I'm going to tell you, it was a world of difference for me. It helped manage the last couple months when I needed just some extra people to talk to. And I didn't really want it to be, someone who would know everything that's happening in my world. So ask for help. Eat well and take your vitamins. We talk about vitamin D, vitamin B, vitamin C, and magnesium. If you can do anything else, if you can do nothing else, just get a good night's sleep. That will make so many things better. The quest for the perfect holiday is just that, you guys. It's a quest. If you want to reduce your stress level during this time of year, strive not for perfection, but for peace, acceptance, and fun. Remember that it isn't the day or the amount of money you spend that makes the holiday. It is okay to make mistakes. If you surround yourself with good and decent people and take care of the little things, the big things can be taken in stride. I wish everybody a happy holiday season. If anyone, I do offer free wellness consults in my office, and I always offer that to any group that I speak with. If you're interested in all just sitting down and learning more about wellness, what would be the best supplementation for you, if you'd like some accountability over the holidays on just eating, whatever it may be, or having your vitamin D tested, just send me a message. Here's my information, and I wish everybody a happy holiday season.
Thank you so much, Julie.
You're welcome.
We had a couple of requests for which we will, the PowerPoint, and then separate handouts if you're able to send any of those separately or whatever.
The handouts, and I can just email them to you, right?
Yep, that'll work.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple questions. One was going back, I'm not sure if Joanna's still on, but can you spell that herb?
Oh, ashwagandha. Oh my God, yes. ASH here. I'm actually going to just, oops, hang on a second. Yeah, because I think it's ASHW, but let me get it here so that you have it. So yes, ashwagandha is one. I use one that's called Axe Herbalist. Here, so it's ASHWAGANDHA, ashwagandha. And I do have two that I use in my office. So, someone's welcome to message me, but ashwagandha is the kind of the #1 stress herb to be used.
And then how much magnesium should one take if always struggling with constipation?
Oh, such a good question. And there's not a magic number because each person needs a different amount. So what I need is different from what someone else needs. So what I recommend is so the supplement that I have it's one dose is 400 milligrams. So I initially at bedtime, and I'm going to say if you deal with sleep issues too, because most people deal with sleep issues as well. It seems like, so I would take 800 milligrams is what I have them do at bedtime. And I have them do that 3 days in a row. And if you're getting decent results from that, you're sleeping better and your GI system has picked up, that's all you need. After 3 days, if you're not noticing some improvement, then I have them add an additional cap. So it goes to 1200 milligrams because my doses are 400 milligrams each. So so you just keep kind of doing that until you have loose stools and then go down one dose. Also, I'm just going to say that it changes from day to day. Like what I need one day might be completely different another day. I've found out that I need more magnesium the days after I teach body pump than the days that I don't on my off days. So I've noticed that my demand goes up, but you'll know when you have enough when you have loose stools. So it's just going to be kind of an incremental thing, but I would start with 800 milligrams. And that's one you can definitely, whoever asked that can message me on and I can walk you through that. Good question.
And then do you recommend plant-based protein for people who don't get enough protein?
Yeah, well, it depends if they're dairy sensitive or not. So I actually use a plant-based protein, a plant-based shake personally, because I have sensitivity to dairy. I don't think it's, I don't think it matters if it's plant-based or not. I just recommend having higher amounts of protein. So whatever, I'm always going to go to food first, is getting, if you can go and you can eat more meat, more eggs, things like that, that would have a higher protein. The reality is most of us don't have enough snacks with protein. So then I recommend having a good protein shake. And I'm going to tell you, all protein shakes have a lot of protein. It's what else is in them. So you don't want any, you want it to have low sugar impact and lots of fiber. So it doesn't mean every shake is good, but any protein shake that has those in there is good if you're sensitive to dairy, or if you want to eat plant-based, then you can move to a plant-based shake. But I wouldn't, I don't think you have to do a plant-based one instead of a regular one just to get more protein, if that was the question.
Okay. Do you have a recommendation for an all-around vitamin that contains the majority of the suggestions you had?
That's a good question. There's two. To start out with, I use one that's called Daily Essentials. It would have the magnesium in there, the C in there, and it has the B, the C, and some magnesium. Magnesium, generally, you're not going to get enough from a overall multivitamin. You generally have to add some additional ones in there. So there's a daily essential one that I use in my office that would have a little bit all of them in there, other than someone might need more magnesium.
And then Jennifer, I think how to get a hold of her is you can send her an email.
Yep.
At that
Email or text
listed there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is it for questions. So
okay.
Thank you again so much, Julie, for presenting. And thank you all again for attending our training today. Again, the survey will be sent out here shortly. Please take just a couple minutes to fill that out, and any feedback is great. Next week, we have Homelessness in North Dakota with Cody Schuler. So we hope you all can join next week. And just a reminder, we are taking the week of Thanksgiving off. So there will be no presentation the week of Thanksgiving, but next week is homelessness. So again, thank you all for attending. Thank you again, Julie. And
I appreciate being asked again. I truly feel honored that you asked me to share again. So thank you so much to your group of what you guys do.
Yes, thank you. So I hope everybody has a good rest of the day and week. Thank you.